So from here, our students, the next step, they go and give the teacher.
Yes.
We are asked any time to produce a photo of the the same table, this table, up to that table. These are all our non-teaching staff helping.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So this is now one.
No, this one now is booking to have a key holder. Yes. So from here, so we have started again. So those who come without anything and we are able to verify, they are really new. We give them, we give them and we keep them in school.
Yeah.
What we are doing, we also got the hotline number one. So the network is out. The use of the hotline. And then but the person is going to get every to check on the later. This operator is going
So this is an example of a parent who made the change. And he was taken to St. Charles and didn't follow up. The name is missed.
Not allow any time to go back to.
Yes, we are creating the manually and then we shall recognize. So this was the first list. So long as it's here, we go ahead.
That was really done. You have told them to get the pictures or you want them? Or to start with the things to get and these pictures are going to be kept safe. So it comes to examination time.
The name is, but our fiscal year we have 205.
So it's going on.
What we are doing, we used to go to the hotline and the one.
Where they receive all their items.
The one I'm looking for is behind.
He's the one who is rolling to lead the CS.
Students, the next step they go and leave the
They're also coming in.
yes.
That in Angai?
It is such a, it's a total biggest student
Najua hapo nyumbani.
So is your foreign affairs is a little bit better.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is our second day monitoring the government's policy of 100% transition from primary school to secondary school. But I started here in Machakos by visiting two primary schools, Nandoni Primary School and Machakos Primary School. The purpose of those visits was to ensure that grade 4 is well grounded in this part of the country. I found out that the schools had many children, but the books were available and the teachers were there and the children were being taught. So from that perspective, I am happy. I have also noticed that for Machakos Primary School, there is need for government to focus and consider providing additional classrooms in collaboration with the county government and the area member of parliament, and we are going to pursue that. Then I went to Machakos Girls School, which is an excellent school. Excellent because I know it since we use it as a marking center. We used to use it as a marking center in my other life as chair of NEC. It's an excellent leader there. What caught my eye was that 3 girls presented with absolutely nothing, and the head teacher has taken them in and is making arrangements for them to become students with everything that is available. I want to encourage all other head teachers in the country, including my brother, Kahi Ndimule, who is a very strong brother because he leads the Head Teachers Association, and therefore he makes me sleep without headache. That any child that presents him or herself should never be turned back. I was informed last night that there was a child who was turned back from a particular school, but we sorted that thing out this morning and the child is going back to the school. So please, one child or 2 children or even 5 children who are unable to pay fees are not going to take your school down. And I keep saying it's a government child going to a government school. So you actually have no business asking the child to go back home. I have also learned this morning that somebody, the principal in Kanga, has taken a child who reported with a box and 2 pieces of bar soap. That principal is blessed, and that child we shall ensure that that child gets education as per the presidential directives. Here, where I am, is a school that is important to us because it is headed by the principal of principals. We have about 9,000 principals in the country, and they are headed by Mr. Indemuli. I will also allow him to say 1 or 2 things, but I want to say that I have noticed here, or he just told me that after reviewing the registration process, I asked him whether they have received any children who are unable to pay. And he has touched my heart because he says all the teachers here, each of them pays 200 shillings per month towards a kind of trust fund for the poor children. And that last year they collected 500,000. And they should be thoroughly commended. This is an example which should be encouraged nationwide and even at the education headquarters. I shall start that process where we encourage people to voluntarily put tokens into a fund, and should a child come from nowhere that requires that help, that child should be helped. You have seen the principal taking me through about 10 different stations. It is because he's the most organized. And I have noticed that the process of 100% transition is going on well. NEMIS is now performing at peak. It is performing very well. We have taken good and adequate control of it. He tells me yesterday he uploaded everybody on NEMIS. I spoke to Kenya High School this morning. They have uploaded more than 300 out of the 380 or so. And many schools are now uploading on NEMIS. NEMIS is important because then it will help government to be accountable. It will also help the officers to be accountable. so that money that is sent to schools is not sent to aggregate numbers, but to children who are alive. And you have seen to what detail Mr. Ndimuli has been in terms of identifying his own candidates. Even before they come, he has got sheets, and the sheets have been stamped. Yesterday I was being asked, people are being directed to go to certain places, but I'm sure, Mr. Ndimuli, you must have got a bargain price.
Yes.
For the children who are coming here, so that they pick the uniform here. That's another good practice that I would urge other principals to adopt. So going forward, I think we hope that I would like to encourage the Kenyan parents to stop behaving like Kenyans. Bring your children to school yesterday. Don't wait until Friday. By Friday, I would have wanted to know how many have been captured. But like at Machakos, I was disappointed. At Machakos Girls, I was disappointed to learn that just under 50% reported yesterday, which means people are still taking their sweet time. Can I plead with everybody that by tomorrow, Wednesday, you should have brought your child, unless there are issues that are very extraneous, because time doesn't wait for anybody. It will also help us to plan for you and to even know the numbers that have transited, so that we can plan adequately. Mr. Ndimuli, since you are so important in this process, I would want you to say something about what you have observed, and speak needy child.
Fine.
Don't refund. Keep the money for the next needy child.
Yes.
And let me just end by saying that please, please, please do not return any Kenyan child back home.
Yes.
Not all of us are in the same category. Once a child has reached the school, first of all, admit the child, and let us discuss the other issues later.
Thank you.
I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, unless you have anything.
Yes, I have a question.
Is ready and willing to protect every Kenyan without fear or favor. That is the first point. The second point is our teachers who are posted and they teach in any part of the country should also enjoy that same protection. I strongly believe that even though it is not within my ministry, it's basically within the gambit of the Ministry of Interior, but we are one government, just like the President has said. I, as Magoha, son of Magoha, I do not believe that terrorists can come out of nowhere and that the local community must now be interrogated. They must be interrogated because teachers must go and teach anywhere they want to teach. We can't be afraid. This is our country. Are we together on this one? So all this nonsense and hogwash of people saying, oh, they crossed the border. The Somali border is so far from where this attack was done. So some of the locals must now be answerable. And the law must apply. And I would like to encourage any person, including myself now, I'm here. Only God knows whether I'll be alive tomorrow. I think we really have to stop living in fear. Security, I believe, will be beefed up in those areas, but I would want to see a little bit more than that security, because the local people around the school must now tell us why they did not work to protect the teachers who have gone to sacrifice on their behalf. It's as simple as that. But I want to end by telling you that as Kenyans, we must not be afraid. If I'm posted to Mandera now, I shall go there. And with Christ in front and at the back, I shall succeed there. Because it's only God who will decide when I will die. So let those teachers remain in peace, because I think the government is very aware. You may think you are coming back to a relative safety and you die on your bed. So it really doesn't matter. But justice must be done. It is very painful to lose a teacher who has gone into a hardship area to help. You cannot use and shall not use religion to kill people who have no cause. They are hawana hatia. That is my stand. It is personal and very passionate. And as I keep praying, because I pray every day, I pray that may God grant their souls a good place in heaven. But it will not be before long, even before those idiots who killed them will join them up there, except they'll be on the opposite side. Do you get the point? And they may even be asking for water, but water cannot cross from this side to this side. Now, there was I think I've answered your question. Now, then I want to tell you that there is a Kenya Constitution 2010, which you should go and read. Kenya Constitution 2010 places teacher management squarely in the ambit of Teacher Service Commission. We are one government, yes, but I cannot talk now until I consult Dr. Nancy Macharia. Do you get the point? My rallying call is that it doesn't have to be teachers. If you are an officer and you have stayed somewhere for about 5 years or so, you get localized and too familiar. So there is no harm in transferring you. But that transfer should be done with a human face, where if you have a few years to retire, there is no need to relocate you. If you are a lady and you have your husband around there also who is teaching together there is perhaps no need to relocate you. If you are ill, for example, this morning I saw a teacher in my office who is in Mount Kenya area and is unwell, and I was able to request Dr. Macharia through a letter to transfer him because I also suffer from the same condition of asthma. And for him, cold is the problem. For me, cold is the cure. So we are opposite each other. So I think the best answer to that question should be directed to Teacher Service Commission. But in general principles, I think all people, all arms of government transfer. In fact, if you ask me who is the county commissioner for Machakos, how long has he been here? How long has she been here? 1 year. That is your answer. Because it is one government, that's your answer. And he will not stay here for 5 years. Yes.
Shukran sana.
Asante sana.
I'd like to state that the admission process in all our schools started yesterday. My discussion with colleagues clearly indicated the start of the process. Yes, we had a slight challenge on the NEMI system early in the morning, but later in the day the system was flowing. We were in constant discussion with the Ministry of Education, explaining the challenges, and now it is flowing quite well. Once the child has been admitted and you go to capture biodata, you'll get all the children that you have uploaded already there, and you can now capture your biodata. And I think this is flowing seamlessly. The only challenge that principals are facing, and this is caused by parents who wanted to change from one school to the other. This was done by the principals where they requested for the change, but they are now appearing in the original school with an invitation letter, but the name is now missing in the system, and that is purely caused by parents. I'm sure some principals have asked those parents to go to the school where they changed. Some of us, like here, we have taken 6 of them in already, those who had changed to go to another school but have decided to bring the children. But since they were on the very original names list that we were given, we are taking them in, and I want to encourage my colleagues to do the same. The rest can be sorted out later with the Ministry of Education. My appeal is to all other who are supporting students in schools, and this to the ministry also. We must create a database where everybody sponsoring any child in any school can place that information on that database, so that should I want to sponsor a child, I query the database and it will tell me that this child is already being sponsored. This is because every year, at the end of the year, principals are faced with requests from parents for refunds of excess fees. And when you look at the cost of the excess fees is bursary that they received from somewhere. And they give us all manner of reasons. I think going forward, sir, any excess fees that has come in via bursary, allow principals to refund the organization that was supporting the child.
I would
and not-
say that